Oh, okay, we are live.
Oh, good.
Let me. Okay.
Now we're all set
That
up.
is better.
There we go.
Okay.
Ugh.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody.
Hey, welcome back. Whew. It's been a weekend.
Yes. Yes.
All right, so by the title, you can see that we're going to do a retrospective on the Ant-Man movies.
Yes.
And with the recent one, Quantumania, that just came out, figured we should talk about the previous ones.
Right.
All right, so in this case, the MCU's Ant-Man, it's Scott Lang. He's a former burglar. And,
Does Scott Lang exist in the comics?
he does.
Okay, he does. Okay.
He does, and just like in the MCU, he's the second Ant-Man.
Okay.
The first one was Hank Pym. And Hank Pym was the original Ant-Man. He created the suit and the Pym particles that help give Ant-Man his powers of shrinking and growing, where he's small and then giant. Yeah. Now, the first movie, I have to say I still like that movie a lot because it tried to do something interesting and fun and cool, something that was different from, the MCU movies, which is superhero. It tried to do like small stakes, a heist movie.
Yeah.
Which I thought, hey, that's pretty cool.
And okay, I'll say this. As soon as Corey Stoll's character was introduced, my immediate reaction was, I want him to be Lex Luthor.
Now, who was Corey Stoll's character? Was he
Darren Cross?
Oh my gosh, they kind of made him a Lex Luthor in a way, didn't they?
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But
with this one, with it, you honestly can't say anything about the Ant-Man movie without the the whole spiel where they did like, so my cousin knows this guy. Like that whole part was just absolutely hysterical. Where it's literally you got different characters mouthing exact words that who is it? Who is it that oh god? Who is Scott Lang's partner?
Michael Pena?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Louis. Yeah, Louise.
Yeah, Louise. Louise was freaking hysterical. Does he show up in the third one?
No.
Okay, so they just killed the best part of, Ant-Man.
Well, Peyton Reed did actually give a reason for why Michael Pena doesn't show up in Quantumania.
Yeah, why is that?
It was because they wanted to focus more on the family and get to the quantum realm like as quickly as possible, so it didn't really make sense for them to include him.
Yeah, but come on, he's the best part.
I know.
He's one of the best parts of Ant-Man. Like, you can't have Ant-Man without Michael Pena.
Yeah. Which I'll say this. We're kind of going out of order here, but they could have done what they did with David Dastmalchian for Quantumania, because he was in that movie, and just had Michael Pena play like a different character.
Honestly, you could have, but at that point, everyone would be saying, "Oh, there's Louise." Wait, that's not Louise.
Yeah.
Because Michael Pena is synonymous with Louise. Honestly, I should go home and watch Ant-Man tonight. That's a fun movie.
But yeah, back to the first movie.
Yes. Well, I'm still talking about the first movie.
Yeah.
So So I personally enjoyed the first movie quite a bit. I still rewatch it. Like it's not entirely memorable, like it's the greatest movie ever, but it's like this is a fun romp.
Yes, and I'll say this about all three of the Ant-Man movies have some good comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I love Michael Douglas's pessimism.
It goes very well, meshes very well with Paul Rudd's character's, cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
And it's just like, just that slap to reality. It's like, if you do so much as screw this up, I swear to God. It's like, oh. Paul Rudd is just, he's a good actor. But I also feel like, well, I think he's been typecast, actually, as the funny guy.
Yeah.
And he's a funny guy. But I feel like he could do some other roles. Like, maybe he could do some serious roles if he wanted to. But I guess comedy roles are his bread and butter.
Yeah.
Being a superhero, yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh. So anyway, Scott Lang gets out of prison and gets the suit after he breaks into Michael Douglas's Hank Pym's house. Gets the suit because he wants to be there for his daughter, and ends up, in the world of superheroes. So now he has to become Ant-Man and steal a suit. And it was so funny. I remember this tagline from the commercial of the first Ant-Man movie. I'm done being a thief. I want to live my life on the straight and narrow. I want to do good things. What's the job you got to do? I want you to go in. I want you to steal stuff. I was like, that is funny. It's like the guy is saying, I want to do right. I don't want to steal stuff anymore. And that's in the past. Well, I want you to go ahead and steal stuff. Huh? It was hilarious. Now the B plot with the where Alex Cross is trying to get the Pym particles, like the right dosage of the Pym particles for his Yellow Jacket prototype.
Yeah. Oh, and the Falcon cameo.
The Falcon cameo was pretty fun. It was really, really fun, and it went exactly as how you would expect. It's like somebody showed up on an Avengers base. They're not allowed. So it's like, okay, well, I got to take you to the questioning. I can't do that. I just need to get something in and out real quick. And the problem is, it's like you can't look away, and the guy's telling you what he's going to do. So you're like, heck.
How about the fact that I fought an Avenger and I didn't die?
Yeah. Because at the time, Falcon was an up-and-coming Avenger, and it was like, how about the fact that I fought an Avenger, I didn't die? It's like, yeah. Let's not get you near my energy drink, because... God help me, puppy. Good puppy. All right. But it was so freaking hilarious. And then, he's trying, and then his friends that help him, break into stuff, he's like, they become the diversion. I'm sorry. In the first Ant-Man movie, the A plot is much more interesting than the B plot, but they need the B plot to happen in order for A plot to move forward. So it's like, if there was one thing I could say that could be improved for the movie, it's definitely the B plot. Like the training scenes was fun, it was enjoyable, but the B plot where it's just Alex Cross trying to figure out
Alex Cross?
Yeah.
Darren Cross?
Darren Cross. Alex Cross is a character from books written by James Patterson. So Darren Cross trying to figure out the Pym particles and how to use them, or even just to replicate them. It's not interesting. It's far be it from me, but it's not interesting. If you had shown more science, where he's trying to carefully, show us his process alongside, Scott Lang's training, because I remember it was just the focus was just on Scott Lang's training. It would have made Ant-Man much more interesting where, in hindsight, both of them, and this is me, with hindsight, the movie's already been released. Scott Lang is struggling to master the suit. Darren Cross is struggling to figure out the Pym particles. Darren Cross is going over the math. Scott is training, and as they get better and better, they finally figure out, oh, this is what we got to do and everything where it melts together. Where suddenly Evangeline Lilly's character says,
Yeah.
"He's figured it out." Boom, go time. Now A and B plotters merge together for the rest of the movie. Like that's just one thing that I would think would be so much more make the movie so much more interesting.
Now, if I could just take a minute to talk about Scott's family.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever get the feeling that his ex-wife was being unreasonable?
Partially, yes, because he was locked away in prison for a while, and he's trying to get his life back in order. She's moved on. Paul Rudd's character clearly has to as well, but the problem is that he's trying to spend time with his daughter. He's trying to be an upstanding guy, and they're not letting him.
Right.
Which I'm like, wow, you guys are just asses. But at the same time, as he's trying to do better, that they're just not showing. They're not giving him that room.
Right.
And it's like, wow, it's like, the thumb is so firmly planted down on him that even if he tries to move up, they just push him down more and more and more. It's like basically saying you're never going to be good.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this is a lot of the problems that we see, unfortunately, in society nowadays, where guys, it's no matter what they do, and these are good, upstanding guys, no matter what they do in their marriage, they're seen as less than.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just, it's a problem. But that's a whole different topic that we're not going to touch on because it's controversial, which is sad. But also, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about movies, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And we're here to talk about Ant-Man.
Yeah, that was just something that I wanted to bring up.
Yeah, it's irritating, but it's also kind of real life in a way. Yeah. And it's sad, but at the same time, it's like it's a reality. Yeah. But anyways, the whole thing leads to a fight with Darren Cross's Yellow Jacket, which, fun fact, the first Yellow Jacket was actually Hank Pym.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the comics. And there was a controversial moment in the comics where Hank Pym's Yellow Jacket slaps his wife.
Ooh.
And his wife was much like in the MCU, was the original Wasp.
Yes. Which
caused a lot of people in the... like readers in the comic book industry that went, oh, hell no.
Speaking of Wasp, there's a moment in the movie where Scott Lang gets trapped like in the quantum realm.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know how many people have actually noticed this. I noticed it on my. It was at least my second or third viewing of the movie. But when Scott is going through the quantum realm, there's a brief moment where you can see the Janet's silhouette.
Really?
Yes.
Shit. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to pay attention to that when I get there.
Yeah. I didn't notice it the first time either. But
well, I've watched that movie 2-3 times. I wasn't paying attention all that much. But you were paying attention. Props to you for finding that. Sorry, it's just my brain is kind of split. My car has run into troubles where it's like I'm thinking it's my catalytic converter. So I'm worried there's money I got to put away. I got to take out. But anyways, the first movie ends where Scott Lang, he's back on his feet. He's working as a superhero as Ant-Man, and he's finally gained the respect of not only the new dad, the stepdad, but also his wife.
I do kind of like that they did not get back together though.
Yes, I honestly like that because it shows she's moved on. She's with a guy that's fairly upstanding, but it also it's hey. But he's still brought into their lives, which is hey, that's good. That's the kind of middle ground that we want to see in real life, and it's good. It's good to see that. So, which brings us into Civil War, where Ant-Man is brought in. Now, it's not an Ant-Man movie, but he shows up for the fight.
All right.
And I'll never forget his tagline. Anybody got orange slices? It was great.
Oh, I thought that was a water truck.
Well, the funny thing is that the Civil War movie is based off the Civil War storyline. And there was a moment where this one character that can turn himself into a giant, he ends up dying.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In this case, Ant-Man is supposed to be Goliath, but, this is the MCU, and he's a mainstay character. He's not going to get killed. What? What, Puppy Dog? What? But anyways, so the nice end is that, he gets captured, and as a result of his capture and violating parole, he now is under house arrest. Get over here, pup. He's under house arrest, which leads us into the second movie, which takes place in between, roughly at the same time as Infinity War.
Yeah.
But the end credit scene takes place right smack in between right at the end of Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
So, in this case, the second movie is Ant-Man and Wasp. Cool! I've been waiting to see Wasp because I've watched...
Yeah, Wasp was teased at the end of the first movie.
Oh yeah, she absolutely was, and I was stoked for it.
Yeah.
Because one of my favorite female superheroes, actually from Earth's Mightiest Heroes, was Wasp. She was plucky. She had a mouth on her, but she also knew, hey, I shouldn't mouth off too much. Yeah. But she was one of those characters where it's like, yeah, I'm rooting for her.
Yeah, and it felt like they definitely upped the comedy in this movie.
They definitely did. They upped it because there were some familiar faces that I saw. Oh, I don't remember this guy's name, but I know he's done work in this other series that I watched. I watched this show called Justified with Timothy Olyphant. Timothy Olyphant's a good guy, and the guy that plays the mobster is the bad guy that ends up finding Jesus in prison.
Okay.
And he becomes sort of like an anti-hero, good guy, bad guy sort of thing. And he does a really good job, really, really good job. So I'm like, oh, I seen that guy. I know what he does. And he brings, it's not the most stellar performances, but it's a solid one. It's a solid one that's all right, respectable job. Good job.
These aren't disguises saying we look like ourselves at a baseball game.
Yeah, the baseball hats. That is very true. It's oh, this is a disguise. That's about as stupid as in the first Dungeons and Dragons movie, where your disguise is literally just, we're going to wear a cloak and put the hoods up. That's not a disguise. This is not a disguise at all. If someone were to know me, they would see this green hoodie and be like, oh, I know him. I'm like, crap. I'm screwed. So yeah, and that's the one thing I got to harp on Marvel for this thing. It's like a disguise. Oh, we'll just put on a baseball cap. No, that's lazy. That's sloppy. If you're going to put on a disguise, you need to make it look like you're just another bum. Christopher Reeve had his disguise nailed down perfectly in the Superman movie. And a lot of it was just posture. That's all it is. Changing up your posture. When Christopher Reeve was playing Superman, he was up straight. A lot more. There was much more of a masculine presence. He was, instead of being no, he was very much look at this. Does this not command a bit more of attention? Looking like this. Whereas this, if I was like this, when he was Clark Kent, he was much more hunched over, more reserved, quiet, quirky. Oh, Lois, it was oh my gosh. And for him to change that dynamic, even to do it on screen. And I saw it on screen once where he was contemplating on telling Lois his secret, where he stood up straighter. Man, I was like, ho, that's awesome.
Yeah. Now, how did you feel about Ghost?
Ghost, I don't know. I couldn't really relate so much. She just seemed like and I hate to say this because the actress did as good a job as she could have. And I give her props for it, but honestly, Ghost did not seem like a worthy antagonist.
Right.
She was just a person. Like, she wasn't really much of an antagonist.
Right, she didn't really seem all that much like a villain.
It didn't seem like there was a bad guy in this movie, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is a superhero movie. I'm supposed to see a bad guy.
Yeah.
And her as a bad guy? No. No, it was just
that,
some...
like, Sonny Birch character.
Mm-hmm. Was he the FBI character, or was that the mobster?
That was the mobster.
Okay, Sonny Birch, yeah.
Yeah. The FBI character was Jimmy Woo.
Yeah, Jimmy Woo was...
He was great.
He was funny. Because I've also seen him in The Office where, was it John Krasinski has Jimmy Woo stand in for him as an agent just to screw with Dwight Schrute. Just to screw with him. And it was freaking great. I was like... And Jimmy Woo was like, wait, Dwight, this is the first time you're seeing me as an Asian? Props to you for not seeing color. I was like... It was hilarious. There are a number of people that still watch that, and it's like, that's funny. That is freaking funny. And it's good. It was good. So I know Jimmy Woo can do funny, and he does funny.
Also, Randall Park he's great.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But Lawrence Fishburne, ultimately, as Ghost's mentor, as like the guy helping out, it's like there
wasn't his name like Goliath?
Yeah, he was Goliath. But which was actually the superhero that was supposed to be killed off in Civil War. But, hey, we got a Goliath here. I'm like, okay, what would you do? And then they started doing like, how tall were you? It's like this. It's like, oh, come on. This is obviously a measuring contest.
You guys just add quantum onto everything.
Yeah, literally. But the second movie, I'm like, it was more of a focus on getting who is it? Michael Douglas's wife in this movie.
Yeah, Janet.
Yeah, getting Janet back from the quantum realm. And so I'm like,
Yeah, and the weird thing about Ant-Man and the Wasp, because for a majority of the movie, it's like Scott's suit is broken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is, and that's what drove most of the comedy, where he just couldn't get it working right. I think there was one point that
there were some funny moments.
There were.
Like the scene with him at the school.
I was about to mention that one.
So, champ, how was school?
Yeah. Let's go home. We'll get you some cheese sticks and juice box. You actually have those? I was like, yeah, that's funny. Oh, but yeah, with that one, it was just trying to get Janet back from the quantum realm. Mm-hmm. And somehow Ghost managed to get her situation fixed.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, ah! But anyways, that second movie was like, eh. Which I feel kind of bad because the first one was really freaking good. Mm-hmm. But the second one was just, eh. Now, I haven't seen the third one, but
yeah.
You have.
Yes, I have. And I enjoyed it. I would say there are definitely some pacing issues. It takes way too long to introduce Kang. I felt MODOK was a bit of a waste.
Wasn't that Darren Cross as well?
Yeah. And I did kind of appreciate that the movie didn't really waste any time in like getting to the main conflict.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. But honestly, I would say this one was probably the least memorable.
Yeah,
of the three of them.
that's sad, isn't it?
Yeah,
Where it's like, and of course, all these reviews are coming in saying that this movie, it's not good.
yeah,
But I think there might be some other variables. It might be that it's the Ant-Man movie has gotten formulaic. It's much like these Marvel movies that we've seen, and it's just like the old cowboy westerns, spaghetti westerns. They start to get all same.
yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people. I watched Critical Drinker, and he said this movie was not good, which I hate to say that, and I hate to see that because he has mentioned like the movie is not good, but there are some standout roles in it. For instance, Kang. Kang is supposed to be really good.
Yeah, he was the best part.
Yeah, and you saw that. So for
Yeah.
numerous people to say like the best part of this movie is Kang, why? Because he has long, dramatic pauses. Long, dramatic pauses. It's like, oh, like you have to hang on his word. Like this guy clearly knows what he's doing. I'm trying to remember. Was he the guy that was in Lovecraft Country?
I think so.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, Kang was definitely the best part. I really only wish they'd introduced him like sooner into the movie rather than like an hour in.
Oh boy.
But and Bill Murray was fine.
Yeah, didn't he have like a cameo or something?
Yeah. Again, I really enjoyed Hank's pessimism. Like there's a part where him, Janet, and Hope walk into this like cantina place, and Hank immediately walks up to the bar and he's like, "Do you have anything that can get me drunk?"
Stupid question, but yeah. But anyways, let's see. So I guess so Kang was the best part of this movie. Some of the comedy was good. But also I think we gotta mention one thing that seems like a disappointment, which is that Cassie apparently is like a downgrade. Which is sad to see because in the first movie she's this cute little girl that wants to see her dad succeed, and we're like, yeah. And now in the second movie, she's grown up a little bit, but she wants to spend time with her dad. All right, cool.
Yeah.
But third and finally, we see this movie, and she's like, she hates her dad. I'm like, what the heck?
Which completely goes against
everything. And I realize, Cassie's a teenager now.
Yeah.
But now she's like saying, "Oh, you don't understand, Dad. You don't get it. You're stupid." It's like, what the? And this is only what I've heard. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. What?
Yeah.
What?
Now, I will say this about Cassie. The actress who played her in this movie looked more like the actress who played her in the other two movies, as opposed to Emma Fuhrman, who played her in Avengers Endgame. So I will give them credit for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. But yeah, I guess ultimately the best one out of these Ant-Man movies was probably the first one.
Yeah.
And the most memorable. Whereas the second one, not so much. Third one, definitely not.
No.
And the sad thing is, like, now everything is out of order because what was supposed to come before is the Marvels.
Mm.
And I guess that's been delayed
To November, yeah.
Yeah, till November.
Which I am super stoked for Guardians 3, though.
Yeah.
So,
Guardians 3 is supposed to come out in, like, the summer?
in May.
In May, okay.
Yeah. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
The Guardians movies were pretty good. The first one was great. The second one, not too bad. It was pretty fun. We don't know what the third one's going to do.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that. But yeah, and honestly, just seeing the Ant-Man movies, like, go from, like, downgrade just in terms of story quality. It's like it's kind of a disappointment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also, something else that was brought up in a review that I watched, that I do kind of agree with, is that throughout the entire movie, it's like they refer to Kang as like they don't refer to him by name, which I thought was like really weird. They either refer to him as the Conqueror or him or you know, they never refer to him by name, which
that seems kind of stupid.
They had no reason to do that. Like, now I could probably understand if this was meant to be like Kang's like introduction to the MCU, then maybe I could understand them doing that. But we already saw him in Loki, so
yeah, it's like, come on, we know it's Kang.
Yeah, and even like going into this movie, everyone knew Kang was going to be in it, so that made no sense.
It made no sense.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's the worst. Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's that's sad. Like they're trying to set up like, oh, we don't know who he is. Like with Loki came out, we already know who this is. But I guess it's just everyone else doesn't know who he is. Like, come on. And I guess he's supposed to be the big bad guy for this new phase.
Yeah.
Like phase 5 and 6, or just phase 5.
I think for phase 5, I don't know.
Yeah, because I know there's 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
But phase 4 was kind of all over the place, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I think the biggest problem with phase 4, like as a whole, is that it felt directionless.
Yeah. I would agree. I don't expect like a good I don't expect it to be like a great phase or a bad one, but I certainly expect it to be like decent and have an overarching story, like something to lead up to it.
Yes.
With phase 1, it was very much like with Iron Man, we don't know what to expect, but eventually by the time Hulk came around, it's like, I'm putting together a team. Wah!
Yeah. Phase 1 was all about
building up the Avengers.
Yes.
Whereas with this one, doesn't seem to be a build up to anything.
Yeah. Phase 2 was the aftermath of Avengers. Phase 3 was all about building up Thanos.
Yeah. Well, you could even say phase 2 was a slow build up to Thanos, but also like, hey, the Avengers are now a thing.
Yeah.
Phase 4 just is like, okay, the aftermath of Endgame, so we're just gonna do whatever. And it's like, okay, but you need an overarching story.
Right.
In order to like pull all these different iterations in, and it was everybody just doing their own thing, and like, okay, where's the overarching story? When's this gonna lead up to the next team up movie?
Yeah. Now, I did hear somebody bring up an interesting point about Phase 4, where the overarching theme of this particular phase was supposed to be like all about like grief and loss. Yeah.
Grief and loss. I mean, you definitely got that with WandaVision.
With WandaVision, with No Way Home. With
Wakanda Forever.
With Thor: Love and Thunder. So I thought that was an interesting observation.
It was an interesting take, and I will certainly say, like, okay, could definitely see that, because you got a lot of these Avengers, like they have to move on and do their own thing. But with But that leaves the question: what about Doctor Strange? Well, actually, you could say there's still that grief and loss thing because Wanda was the bad guy.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're getting off topic here because
Yeah.
well, we've run out of stuff to talk about with the Ant-Man movies.
Yeah. Which, I don't know if I'd say that Quantumania was a bad movie.
But it wasn't as good as it could have been.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, if you could give it a grade level, like A, B, C, D level, where would you give it?
I'd probably say a B, and that's being generous.
And isn't that sad? Like, you give it a B, and that it's being generous. I haven't seen it, so I can't give it a grade.
Yeah. I would put Quantumania on the same level as Multiverse of Madness.
Interesting. Interesting. And actually, I just got done watching some other Sam Raimi movies.
Yeah.
I just finished watching Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness. Both of those movies are really good, especially Army of Darkness. Like, that one just went for more comedy than anything else.
Yeah.
And you could definitely see it in the way that Bruce Campbell acted, as well as the writing that Sam Raimi threw in. So it was fun to see. It was fun to watch. It's like, this is actually kind of funny, stupid funny.
Yeah. Although, I'll say this about the Marvels. One thing I'm not looking forward to is all of the like trolling coming back.
All of the trolling?
Yeah.
Oh,
because that was a big thing with the first movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oof. That doesn't sound good. I mean, we both watched Captain Marvel. It
was okay.
It was okay. It wasn't much to write home about. It was like, meh. The only reason that... the only way that was relevant to the story was like the after credit scene. That was the only thing. I was like, well, that kind of... Yeah, whatever.
Now, are you planning on watching Quantumania, or would you mind if I got into the like post credits?
You might as well talk about the post credit scene. What did it set up?
Okay, so the first post credit scene was it was basically all these like different versions of Kang in like this like arena kind of thing.
Huh.
I didn't really understand what was happening, to be honest. I know there was like a Pharaoh Kang. I don't remember the names of the other two.
Huh. But there was 3 Kangs?
Yeah. And then it pans out to this like Coliseum type of thing with like a whole bunch of other Kangs. So
Ooh, boy.
yeah. It was like a Council of Kangs type of thing.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then the second post credit scene was really more of a tease for Loki season 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And it was what? Loki showed up?
Loki and Mobius.
Mobius?
Yes. Owen Wilson's character.
Whose character?
Owen Wilson.
Ah, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He was the guy.
Yeah.
Okay, now I know who you're talking about.
So.
Well, I guess that's that, though. Not much else to talk about. I'm probably going to go home. I'm probably going to watch the first Ant-Man movie just to have fun.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's fine. I was just putting something back that I stole. Like, God dang it, Paul Rudd. Okay, well, I think that's all we can talk about.
Yeah.
All right, so be sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on...
What are we going to talk about next time?
That's the other thing we got to talk about.
Yeah.
What are we going to do next time? Well, this is pretty hard. Do you want to do more like what we did with the J. Jonah Jameson thing?
Yes.
I got an idea.
Okay.
You know that poster on your wall?
The dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What dragons do you think you would have in the real world, and how useful would they be?
Oh.
I think we could have a pretty big discussion on that. Or even just like, why don't we broaden that out instead of dragons? How about mythical creatures, and how you would have, and would you have them as pets?
Okay.
So I think that would actually be fun.
Yeah.
So if any of you have like, if you stumble upon this video and you get to this point, what mythical creature would you have for this as a pet? As a pet, and how reasonably do you think you could take care of them? Because some of the things I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. And I know that as soon as you leave, I'm gonna watch Thor Ragnarok.
There you go. Yeah, we're gonna watch fun movies.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, since that's the next movie in my MCU marathon, since I'm skipping over Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Oh, skipping over that one, huh? All right, so mythical pets. Next movie, we'll talk about mythical pets and how well do you think we take care of them.
All right.
See y'all.
Yeah.
Like, comment, subscribe, and check out our Discord.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Bye-bye. See ya.